We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Here they gonna get wicked. Here we go again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother, was happening.
Yerp.
Everything good your way?
For the most part.
Hey, well, we got a lot of stuff to get into today. Let's get the music going early there, Maestro. You got your chapstick ready?
You know it.
I got my tea ready. We good. Let's do it.
Trying to get that sponsorship.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast
If you
of all time.
smell. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Can you dig it?
Try Jesus,
It's Friday.
not me. Cause I throw hands. Try Jesus. Please don't try me. Because I'm fine. Try.
Ace Kennedy. I'm actually excited, man. We got spring break out here next week, so I'm excited for kind of a fairly long week. This has been one of those weird things that I've been trying to find stuff to do. So I think that I've kind of got some activities lined on up here for the week, though, man. So I'm pretty excited, though, bro. What you got for the week?
Oh man, for the week, I don't know what's happening this week, but this weekend, you know, it's Easter. It's Good Friday today, so it's Easter, and I'll be singing all weekend long, starting tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, for them Easter services.
Okay.
And then, the boy Deuce got tourneys all weekend, so
You're all over the place then, huh?
yeah, man, because like he got a game tonight, so as soon as we get off the pod, I'm out.
Speaking of which, let me ask you, give it to me. Best thing you've seen all week?
So the best thing that I've seen all week would have to be that my boy Deuce, the Prince, was named to the all state class, so he will be in the all-star game. So definitely happy about that. What I thought was going to be a close second was the release of my project, but of course TuneCore decided against that. So we've been going back and forth. Basically, they said there was something wrong with my album cover, which of course there was nothing wrong with my album cover. And so that delayed the process. And so because they delayed it, when they submit to the stores, it takes the stores time before they accept it. And so just going through all that process. So for those of you who have listened to it on YouTube, I appreciate all the feedback, and the comments been very, very positive. But obviously, I wish it was available in all of the streaming stores. So as soon as it does happen, of course, I will keep you all updated. But that was supposed to be my close second. But definitely, the boy Deuce making the All-State.
So I think that for me, I have to say that still was the best thing. I was still excited. I had it listed easily as my best thing for the week, primarily just because it's always one of those things that's I think as you know, independent artists, right? Anytime you have music available anywhere, somebody can stream music with anybody who is, you know, on the majors. I think that that's dope. So it's still my best thing that I've seen this week.
Yeah, and I'm super excited about this song. It's one of those things that it's gonna get a major push. So that's the that's the thing is delaying everything. And as an independent artist, like you said, to have something brand new that people get to hear, because you always get the question when you dropping something new. And this was the major turnaround, one of the big songs that we have.
Let me ask you this. One of the things that this is whole separate, this is talking about, again, looking forward to as far as the best thing. So this weekend, right? I mean, next week we got spring break, but I think that there's probably going to be a couple times that we'll probably have like a couple family get-togethers. I told you before that one of the family games that I particularly am fond of is Ox God, right? Ox God, you talk about it's a game of judging your taste in music, basically. Though, love it. Found this other game that I'm looking to get, Black Uno, right? It's Uno, but the spin that black people put on it. So you might have to, you got a wild card where you might have to take shots. You got a wild card where you might have to draw 50, draw 25. You make it your own, that kind of game. So I'm looking forward to getting that. But I got this game, though, man, that's called Culture Tags. Now, mind you, so this game is a family game of similar to hashtags, but just some of them are sayings. Some of them are Black Twitter. They have categories: Black Twitter sayings, church sayings, everyday sayings. So look, let me tell you what I think. So the idea behind this game is it's almost like charades, right? So you do charade, or not charade, taboo, right? So you're playing a game like Taboo, and you're trying to describe something within this amount of time, and the more you get within the time, the more. So check this out. You see this, right? So I'm describing this.
Okay.
So you got to tell me what these words, these letters, what sentence are saying that this is for. So I'm gonna describe this to you, right? So this is basically saying, hey, you know what? You don't have control over something that's going on. You don't have no control over it. So you say, hey, this word.
I don't even know what that word is.
This isn't a word. These are letters, and the words, these are letters, first letters of words in a sentence or a saying.
Oh, okay. All right. So
listen,
give me your clue again.
So here it is. Something just happened, and this is out of your control, but you got to go along with it anyway, right? So you just say, hey, this, because you don't got no say in it anyway.
I don't know.
It is what it is.
There we go. That was good. That was good.
All right, look. Let me tell you this one. This is funny. Take it. Hold on. Oh, this is one I think that you get. Hold on, my one drop here. Situated here.
For the audio listeners, he dropped a card. So
drop my card.
Yeah. We're back though.
We back. So listen. You in the church. This is for the church. This is for the people that are in the church house, right? And they say, how you doing? You doing all good. You just came up on a lick, and you got to praise God because of this.
I'm blessed and highly favored.
Listen, hold on. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Just so you can say IJTIFH for the people watching. So this is a saying. You about to get into it with somebody. And they say this to start it off, but you never hear them laughing like they say when they start this off. They're about to tell you about yourself. And they say this, but they're not laughing when they say it.
I'm lost. Give it to me.
I just think it's funny how. Okay.
That makes sense. I was going somewhere totally different.
Where was you going with
that? Something like I'ma just say something, whatever the letters were. I had it, but it wasn't working out.
Hey, two more. Listen, you saying this one, you and the squad, you about you trying to slide out. You dress, they dress. So, well, what's the move?
I'm ready. Where y'all at?
That's close. I'm ready when you are.
Oh, okay.
Last one. Can you see my light? My camera's
Yeah,
good.
BDYD.
BDYD. All right, listen. This is Black Twitter.
Feel like
category.
I'm getting high test.
Listen. So look, somebody out there driving fast. They always driving hella aggressive, right? And they got all these stories about them weaving through our traffic. You like, oh, I'm holding on. And they turn to ask you this after all
that. Something about you drive.
You listen, you got the story about how you nearly had an accident, how it was something nearly fatal. So then you say, but did you die?
Oh, so no, I ain't never said that. That's why that one didn't register.
So I think that it's funny though, man. So I got that one. I'm pretty excited about trying to play that one though, man. Like I said, I think it especially given COVID, I think that we're trying to switch it on up with some of the things. We usually play Taboo, typically play some of the regular, game night games though, man. But this one is kind of different though, man.
Yeah, we got one at the house where it's like everybody has A, B, C, and D, and you say something like, "Oh, the best R&B singer is this person," and you go off of the majority on who get on, and that's how you get the points. So it might be like Luther, Lenny Williams, and like it'll have different people, and it's pretty much the majority, however many people, the majority of people that says C, then that's the right answer because it's not really a right answer.
Right, I get that.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Hey man, so real quick, I saw when we last met, man, that we was talking about Kevin Durant. He had to slide up on Michael Rappaport with all the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
They come to find out today he was fined $50,000. Kevin Durant apologized, right?
If that's
good with that.
I think he had to do what he had to do. Like, people is on Michael Rappaport too for the G code, just of like, bro, why you sharing personal messages, man? Because here's the thing, bro. That's the whole point of private messages. They're private. So I can say things to you that are private and you gonna go and share it. That's just all. Yeah.
Well, don't Snapchat have a delete upon receipt feature or something like that?
Something like that. It depends on how you set it up. You can have it set for delete after 24 hours, or you could have it delete after the person reads it, that type of thing. But and then it even has the feature like if somebody screenshots it, it'll let you know that person screenshotted it.
See, Snapchat had Michael Rappaport in mind. That, listen, bro, I thought that the one thing that I agree that Kevin Durant had to say something, right? Had to apologize. But I think that the one thing that I liked, though, that he said, I apologize that y'all had to see that. Not for what I said, but that y'all had to see me go there with him, though. I think Kevin Durant still would run that fade on him if he saw him, though.
Oh, 100%. Now that I done paid $50,000, I got to run. You got to run. You owe me.
I got to get my money's worth.
Yeah. I told you what I felt about that. Again, I understand that we are in 2021, so there's certain things you're not supposed to be able to say, but I come from an era that when you said certain things, they had different meanings. And so I understood where Kevin Durant was coming from. He may have had a lot more of them than I would have said, but I wouldn't have said that anyway, but still I understood where he was coming from.
It's funny you say that, right? Because we talk about that all the time when it comes to culture where we come from. You might say something and you may not mean for it to be offensive, but somebody is offended by everything. It reminds me of Cardi B when she said she was describing her daughter and she said, her eyes are a little chinky. And I'm thinking like, well, I know exactly what that description is. I know exactly what she's describing, right? But then I think that some people came out and was like, "Hey, yo, that's low key." Like,
I just had this conversation with a member of my household because they were talking about my dog, and they said, "Oh, he got chinky eyes," and I was like, "You can't really say that." And so, and I had to explain the whole Cardi B thing. So yeah, and I noticed I didn't call anybody's name because I mean it was innocent, but yeah, I mean
I just wondered, man. This is the weird part, right? Because like I said, I think that Colleen has a way of kind of shielding us from those kind of things because you and I grew up with Asian people, right? All day long. In Colleen, it was very common to see Asian and black people. You saw the blazer. Question for you, bro.
What's up?
This is now think about it. How come we never saw anybody who was Asian and black, and their mama was black and their daddy was Asian?
I mean, because let's keep it 100, bro. You know, we lived in an army town, so that's what it was. I never saw
anybody. I don't know anybody. Like I know a lot of people who's Korean and black. I know some people who are Korean and white, but all those people who are mixed with Asian, I've never seen them where the daddy is Asian and the mama's black.
I've seen it before, but not in Colleen, like you asked. But I've seen it before. But
with that said, though, I've never remembered them being like bruh.
Like I said, I think we got spoiled by that in Colleen because, like I said, mostly we saw soldiers who would have Asian wives or whatever the case may be, and then those kids would then go to the school with us. So that's just what we grew up in that.
It comes to, I always think about one time we was out in Midland High School, one of the most epic basketball games we've ever played in Colleen, bro. And so we out here in Midland we were ranked like number 2 or number 3 in the state at the time. And Midland Lee High School was ranked like number 4. Now, the odd thing is they were Midland Lee because I believe it was after Robert E. Lee. I could be wrong. But we go there, right? And the environment was very much like Duke. I mean, it made the Colleen Ellison game look like a JV game or a 8th grade game because it was packed out. And what made it so epic is that it was like they did their homework. They studied everybody on our roster, right? And anybody who came into the game, they had a chant ready for everybody. I mean, I'm talking about everybody who came in. And Gary, who is Korean and black, they had a chant where they were calling them Tiger Woods out there, bro. And it was hilarious. And we're on the bench during this time, dying laughing, especially when one of the guys, when Gary goes to shoot a 3 and someone says Tiger for triple bogey. Dog, we fell out laughing. And it was one of the, but I remember, you know what I'm saying, Gary laughing hard about it too, and we still joke about it to this day. But I guess I never knew anybody who, while Colleen may have shielded us from that kind of cancel culture and kind of toughened us on up, I just don't remember anybody being like offended by stuff like that when we was growing up. But different races,
we grew up, you know, we didn't have a whole bunch of money, so we grew up. That was one of our things, was joning on each other. Like that was the thing. You got your stripes that way. You would snap on people. That's just what it was. You know what I'm saying?
So one thing that you said last week that we talked about, no, not last week, on Tuesday, was when you would say, "Man, that's gay," and nobody who was gay found that to be offensive like that did. Like, I think that they kind of knew, while it could be perceived as derogatory toward gay people when you say, "Oh, bro, that's so gay." At the same time, it's like, I don't know anybody. I don't. And like I said, I'm not going to say just because I don't know the whole world that it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. But I just don't remember. I I don't remember anybody. I know gay people who be like, bro, that's gay. And they don't mean it to where it said, oh, that's homosexual. They just
No,
mean
that
it.
just means that, like, it's almost like when you say gay, that means happy. But people don't. I know people that rarely use that in the context of being happy. It just means homosexual. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yo,
what up,
bruh?
Hmm.
Go ahead, because I don't want to cut y'all. Go ahead.
No, I'm pretty much done. I'm just saying, like, the thing is that the meaning of terms change with the times, and so, like I said, back when we were using it, it was not inferring any, like, it wasn't meaning, oh yeah, you like the same sex. It had nothing to do with it. It was just, that's gay.
Yo, so on Tuesday, right? We didn't get a chance to get into it. Shout out to Vixen for checking in as always. Shout out to Melvin, the super soldier, for checking in as well. But yo, we didn't get a chance to get into this one, and I'm kind of curious on your thoughts on this one. So Lil Nas X comes out with this song and video, right? I didn't.
Montero.
This is just so bad. I didn't even know the name of the song until yesterday. Right. Yeah. And I went to look, I saw the video yesterday, and we'll talk about that.
Is it Montero, call me by my name or something like that?
Yes. Yeah. Right. So I don't know what was the bigger controversy, the video or the fact that he had these Satan shoes that were supposedly made with real human blood, right? What part of that do you find, not that you find it offensive? Because let's break both of these down in layers. Though, okay. What are your thoughts on this? The shoes and the video.
I thought it was brilliant.
You thought what, the shoes brilliant. or the video was brilliant?
I thought the whole thing. The whole thing. Here's my thing. Lil Nas X is an artist. I mean, he's an artist. His biggest song was Old Town Road. He was on the verge of being a one-hit wonder. Because he didn't have a song that was going to be as big as that. We're in a pandemic to where you can't do really anything. You can't really do shows unless you're doing them virtually. You know the whole spiel. So he decides to bring back a cinematic video that had his thoughts about when people say that he's going to hell because of the fact of his homosexuality. I mean, his sexuality, and all of the things that he brings with that. People were saying you're gonna go to hell. So he took those things, he made a song, and he made a video that was visual. It's a fantasy video, and he's an artist. So when I say it was brilliant, because we're talking about it on our podcast. Sure. When is the last time we talked about Lil Nas X? Old Town Road, and when he had them tig old bitties. Yeah,
he came out with them double D's.
Yeah, but again, another gimmick. There was a gimmick. So what I'm saying is he found a gimmick that was centered around music that worked, and then he was trying to have a marketing strategy, which Travis Scott has shoes, J. Cole has shoes,
official partnerships.
I get that.
Right.
Regardless, he didn't get his Nike deal, right? I think he was thinking from the marketing standpoint is, if I can show Nike that I'm able to sell these shoes, that I could then get a deal. It's
$1,000,
$1,500, yeah,
$1,500 pair of shoes,
right? But again, so when I'm saying that it's brilliant is because it's the conversation. Because here's the thing: whether you like the video, were offended by the video, didn't like the video, you saw the video and you shared the video, so it got even more eyes on it. And again, we're sitting up here talking about it now. Some marketing genius, and he's an artist. That's what he's supposed to do. When you watch Denzel Washington or Mark Wahlberg or any other actor, Constantine with Neo, when you're watching all of them, you're not leaving the movie like, oh, that's the most satanic thing that I've ever seen. You saw an actor portray a part, and that's what it is. He is an artist. He's supposed to make you go into fantasy. Because I seen Joyner Lucas came for him and was like, we let our kids watch Old Town Road, and this, and this. And then Lil Nas X was like, you do know what that song was about, right? But you let your kids hear it like this. Like, this is the type of music that I do. So you need to be paying attention to what I'm doing. So again, marketing genius. I think it's brilliant.
I think here's what I think about this, bro. Okay. I think I have so many thoughts on this one that I'm going to put the disclaimer out there that I don't want. I'm not purposely meaning to offend anybody with what I have to say about this, right? I think that, bro, to that point when he had Old Town Road, I think that prior to Old Town Road, you think Old Town Road came out 2 years ago, right? He was 19 years old when the song blew. I'm going to assume he was maybe 18 when he had the song, and, you know, he just kind of, it manifested to what we know it to be when he was 19 years old, right? I think that Old Town Road, when he came out, I don't think that very many people who didn't know him, right, prior to Old Town Road, because he did music that didn't sound like Old Town Road prior to Old Town Road. Someone let me hear his stuff, and he sounded just like a lot of the auto-tune rappers or whatever. Old Town Road just so happened to be this niche kind of song, once in a lifetime song, whatever. But I think that the thing that's crazy is when he did come out and as gay, it sounds like it felt like to me that people were okay, like he was a safe kind of gay, right? He wasn't at that time as flamboyantly gay to me, right? But it seemed like, bro, that as that song started to blow more and more, and now this 18-year-old who probably wrote this song, who's 19 now, right? He got bread. He's got a little bit more foundation. He's getting more comfortable with expressing how he really is, right? And to me, he becomes more and more flamboyantly gay with every time, because I never, when I would see interviews of him, I didn't get the very feminine kind of gay guy from him, right? You could tell that he was gay, but it wasn't that he was just flamboyantly gay, right? But the more you see him, the more I think that he's trying to push the envelope. And maybe he is saying that, you know, like with everything, that they're that people, that television, for example, normalizes gay. You see gay in everything nowadays, right? I mean, you might see a commercial. They got boy, girl couples. They might slide in a couple dudes. They might slide in a couple chicks kissing. And that, to me, I think that some people feel like it is just too much for them. But I think that one of the purposes of people doing that in Hollywood is to include, right? It's saying that this is normal. And when people say, hey, you know what? They're trying to normalize being gay. Well, I think that being gay is normal. I tell people all the time that it's not. People make it seem like it's a choice for some people, right? I'm one of the people who are of the belief that maybe you could be very well born that way. I mean, you and I know people who we thought were gay in elementary school, and here it is 20 years later, they're gay, right?
Well, I think part of that, though, Charles, the reason why when he first came out, it wasn't as flamboyant as you say, is because you know the stereotype of rap. And so the thing was that now that he has the notoriety, like you said, he can be what he wants to be.
He's everything he wants to be. So then here's the thing.
He reminds me of Adam Lambert.
Yes. But here's the part, though, right? So I think that when I saw, I didn't even know that. I only heard of it, right? Because it spread it that fast. That then you got Lil Nas X, who's giving the devil a lap dance. And I'm thinking like, whoa, that's a far jump. 3 years later, almost 2 years later, from Old Town Road's popularity, right? It was so when I look at that, right, I'm thinking like, okay, well, while they're trying to normalize gay, it feels like he is trying to normalize that there is this level of gayness, if that makes sense, that this is regular as well, right? And while I know that there's a story and everything like that, I do believe that in being a creative, that you want to push the boundaries, you want to push the envelopes, and you want to have this kind of edge and everything, bro. But I think that it's just like when I saw it, I was like, whoa, oh, he's gay. Like he is really gay. And the thing that I think that's interesting to me, though, Ace, is that oddly enough, though, bro, it almost makes me look at him differently as an artist. Not from the standpoint that he's gay. I look at him. So me, bro, like records matter, right? If I haven't made that clear. And so I look at him though, bro, and here it is. He came from hip hop, right? Initially, hip hop and did the country twist. I'm gonna tell you where I'm going with this. Follow me for a second. And I look at that and I think that Lil Nas X won a Grammy before Nas. Biggie's never won a Grammy. Busta Rhymes has never won a Grammy. LL Cool J has never won a Grammy. Nicki Minaj has never won a Grammy. These are all-time great MCs. And so I thought that there was a certain level of responsibility with winning one as an MC, right? Winning those kind of things for hip-hop. This is just the hip-hop of me. So when I saw that Old Town Road was the longest reigning song on the billboards, he beat out Mariah Carey as the longest song, the longest run at number one. He has all kind of records with this song. And I was just thinking like, oh, that's dope for a rapper, right? And now I look at him more as a creative and not as much as a rap artist, maybe some other kind of artist, because now I'm thinking like, I don't think anybody's really talking about the song as much as they're talking about the visual, because he emphasized the visual the same way he came out with the boobs, right? And it's like, well, now you're an influencer now, right? You are famous, and we know you from Old Town Road. But the fact that he hasn't been able to follow up another Old Town Road, that may be hard to do. He may never do that. But I guess I look at that and I just look at him different from maybe Cardi B, who came as a reality. I look at him almost like he is just a creative. And I don't know if I mean it in a good or bad way. I just don't look at him like I don't look at him like an artist anymore, because now, like, I understand that the creativeness, I guess I'm just taking him. I look at the musicianship differently. I respect the creativeness of it, but I look at the musicianship differently, bro. And it's weird, man. That I would think, because I was beginning to.
Yeah, I can't follow you on that one, bro. Because my thing is, he's still making music. He did a better visual. I mean, to me, it's nothing more than what Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion did with WAP. I
agree with you. I just think that he did. I think that he did it for the reaction, right? I think that. Listen,
but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Charles. You just said it yourself. It was going to be very difficult for him to follow up with a song that was going to stand the test of time, just like Old Town Road. Look at Panda, Designer. Yeah. He still doesn't have another song that rings like Panda. So the thing was that you're running to a point where you're running out of time to be able to follow up with something that's going to stick. So as an artist, what are you going to do?
I understand that, right? Think about look at it like this. Okay. I understand what you're saying, because to echo what you're saying, to co-sign that, right? When we did Get Home to You, Don't Want to Run the Streets No More, right? And I wrote that song specifically because I wrote that song for my son, but I also wanted to normalize, right, the fact that it had the message that Black men are in their kids' lives, despite what media or whoever may tell you. And his message behind his song, he has a message, and it's different. I guess I just think that it just feels like I wanted to respect the lyricism, the musicianship, the artistry.
But you can't.
And now I'm thinking that I might just have to judge him as a creative, and that's different from someone who I think would have won a Grammy.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with you, because my thing is that no matter what, it's still about the music. The music there, when we do music, when you and I do music, we write music with the thought of a music video in mind. My last video did not have me singing in the song until the end, right? To the whole song change. My whole visual for that was I wanted a story that I wanted the song to be the soundtrack to a story that was being told. So I did something visually different than what typically people do for a music video. I think as artists, and especially in a pandemic, we're trying to come up with ways to generate buzz for songs that we have. The thing is that it doesn't work off of talent alone. We know that. Like in 2021, it's very gimmicky in order to get people's attention, because of the fact this is a microwave society where you and I talk about this all the time. Bodies of work aren't important anymore, because as soon as you get your body of work out and completed, after they've listened to it one time, the next question is, when's the next one coming out? And so the thing is that because of that, what's that?
It's the principle to me, though, bro.
I like I said, I can't agree.
No. Everything that you're saying makes sense, right? And what I'm saying is that while it makes sense, and I understand that everything you're saying is correct. Personally, it also makes me think that now I have to check for you as a creative and not the artist. And the reason for that is that, like WAP, right? WAP had the video that matched the lyrics of the song, and in the song, the video was meant to really visualize the song. I don't even know the words to his song,
but it
did to me.
No, it didn't, because if the words of that song was them, they basically would have had to make a Pornhub video for the song.
A giant vagina.
They did a creative take on of them walking in a place and all of the visual aspects of it. My thing is this: were you checking for Lil Nas X before this musically?
I was not.
Exactly. So again, you're talking about it now. Here's my thing. This is my message for everybody that watched the video that didn't like it. You don't have to watch it.
It's not that I didn't like the video, right? It's like this. I think that, me, graphically, effects wise, I thought that it was grand.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying, like I said, most people watched the video. They had one of a couple of reactions. They either liked it, they didn't like it, they were totally offended, and it was really, really like crazy for like the satanic aspect of it. Y'all don't have to watch it. As soon as it got to a point where you didn't like it, you could have changed, you could have cut it off. But
the part that I get mad at people who don't like it or are offended is when they say, "Oh, we got the kids watching this." No, you got your kid watching.
You got your kids watching.
You got your kid watching this.
100.
So if it's that much of a concern to you, then that's it. But that's the same way though, right? Like the same way how gay is normalized in everything. And I think that the big thing about it is that, like I said, you see it in every commercial now, every other commercial.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like it's very much like, bro. Now they've normalized gay, and I'm not necessarily saying it's a good or bad thing, but they've normalized gay relationships almost to the point of you seeing interracial couples now. You might see a black dude, white girl on a Zales commercial now. Before you wouldn't have seen that. You might see a black girl. You might even see a black girl and a white girl on there. But I think that I think that media has went out of their way to normalize it. And maybe this is Lil Nas X's way of saying, yo, this is also very normal as well, though, bro. I don't know. But,
like I said,
but the messaging that he has.
I mean, Mike, like I said, I personally, it didn't faze me, because it's my thing is like, I know where I stand religiously. I know where I stand. I know where I stand as a father. So again, I don't have to agree or whatever with that particular song or that visual or whatever. But it's also a great conversational piece to have with my kids. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is that people have got to stop, because people was throwing a fit when Cardi and them did WAP on the what was it, the Grammys or whatever it was, right? People threw a fit about that. And it's just like, bruh, y'all do know that you control what your kids see, not the people on TV need to control it. That's so I just say it was creatively whoever was in charge of the promotion of this particular thing, outside the fact that they're getting sued by Nike.
Melvin the Super Soldier asks, what do you think about the lawsuit?
I mean, this going against the company that made the shoe. It's not going against him. So, I mean, the thing is that company knew the risk of copyright infringement of going. Nike is, and see, Nike got they got a lawsuit on them with the postal shoes. It just happens. That stuff happens.
I think that the shoe, like, this is my thing. You can't sue somebody for making custom Nikes, because I think that this whole thing, the lawsuit with Nike, is just something for Nike to save face and say, we ain't co-sign this. But I think that you can't sue somebody for custom shoes, because people do that. There's a whole market and industry for just custom shoes. And hell, PJ Tucker keeps them all in business.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all publicity, because now that you're done talking about the video,
he winning,
talking about the shoes. And so again, and then he's going crazy, going back and forth with people on Twitter. It's marketing 101. That's exactly what it is. He's got the buzz. He got the juice.
He's winning, man. He's winning. Okay. Hey, so listen, let me ask you something else that's of the same topic.
All right.
But maybe not really. So I saw that. Have you watched any of the TV One Uncensored shows? No. Okay, so Uncensored, they have great content, but they have celebrities, musicians, artists who actually give them the platform to say whatever it is they want to say about different, almost like the Unsungs, right? Except the Uncensored is just that completely. They've had, I think they did one with Miss School. They did one of a couple other people. Well, there's one that I saw the interview with Donnie McClurkin, right? But I thought that it was a very, I almost felt sad for him, but I wanted to see your perspective. So Donnie McClurkin says basically that he essentially feels like he is going to be alone for the rest of his life. And he felt this way because for the most part of his sexuality, he felt like, hey, Christians, the saints, aren't accepting of that. And so he was like, so because of that, I feel like I'm going to be alone. And he's mentioned that, hey, the way that he described it is this. He says that, yes, he is attracted to men, has had relationships with men and women in the past, but he still has this attraction for men that he just don't follow through on, right? He, for the sake of organized religion, right, that and what people may perceive, that he figures that I'll treat this, he said, like diabetes. You know, it's like, hey, you know what? You ain't supposed to eat, you ain't supposed to have sugary foods with diabetes. Don't mean I don't want to, right? So he doesn't, pursue men, but it still kind of seems like it's in him basically though. So my question for you though, bro, is that he's 61 years old though, bro. Is there something to be said that this 61-year-old man, for the sake of Christianity and his organized religion, that he can't just live in his whole truth?
Well, that's the thing. That's the whole thing about religion. There are things that you can and cannot do, and you have choices on whether you do them or not. Just because we know that everybody sins don't mean we're supposed to live in sin. And so the thing is that I respect his commitment to doing what he feels is right, because the Bible says that you're supposed to study to show yourself approved. And so if he feels that he's got to do that in order for him to live in according to what he believes, I have nothing wrong with that.
So let me ask you this then. I think that where I find this to be interesting is that he goes into this this episode and he basically explains that he was molested very young. I think that he said that in the past. But I think that what was crazy about it, I don't know to what depth that he had with that involvement with being molested or whatnot. But I think that the thing that was interesting is that he said that it kind of skewed his views on sexuality, that his first sexual encounter was with the man. He said he never had the opportunity to view women in that light, right? It was with the men. So I think that was what he could have very well thought, well, what was supposed to be the norm. And so I think that it sounds to me that, yeah, he sees the beauty that a straight man would see in women, right? And he's there was one time that I think that he was that there was a rumor that he was engaged to somebody, but he's tried relationships and they've never panned out. But I think that it just sounds like he's just basically saying, hey, I'm gay, but at least on the outside, you'll never see a man on my arm out of respect to the church. I think that it's respectable, but at the same time, it's unfortunate to me at the same time, though, bro, that 61 and you can't live your full truth. Like that's a lot, bro.
It's a lot, but again, having a relationship with God is hard. That's just what it is. And so the thing is that, again, I'm never going to tell somebody to not do what they believe is right with their relationship, because that's what it's about, his relationship. And so if he's thinking like the greater reward for me is to live right, that's going to be the greater reward, because I'm not living for this life. I'm living for the afterlife. Sure. So for that, I think it's respectable with what he's doing. And, not everybody is strong enough to do that. So even though he's honest with his desires, because the Bible says that we all sin. So, and he's living his truth by acknowledging what it is, but he's choosing to, like Chris said, his beliefs are stronger than his desires.
But this is my thing, though, right? Does that, while he said that he doesn't pursue his desires, that doesn't seem to make you any less of gay, right? You just aren't pursuing the relationships and the sexual relationship with men. But your heart says, your heart of heart, in your head, he's basically saying, though, no, I still have that desire. Doesn't that still make you gay? Like,
I'm not here to try to change.
No. I'm not saying I'm not trying to condemn him. But let's just say
no. I'm using it. I'm fixing to flip it into, like, we're not supposed to lust after women, right? But you still see a fine woman. You might see an IG girl. And so the desire is still there. You just don't act on it. It's the same thing. It's just like being straight. So again, he's acknowledging his flaws, but he's choosing not to act on them. It's the same if you see a woman that's got a fat booty and you choose not to touch it, then that's what you're doing the same thing.
I love women. Ain't that what that man said?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting thing, though, man. But I think, though, that, like I said, I look at it. I understand your perspective of saying, hey, you know what? If the goal is the afterlife and not this life, I respect the hell out of that. It's crazy as seeing the hell out of it. I just also think that oh my gosh, oh man, I personally couldn't imagine living with that kind of struggle to satisfy, because I think that he seems to do so to satisfy the eyes, right? The church.
No, I think this is this is how Charles interprets when people say stuff. How I took that as him saying, listen, I know the platform that I have when it comes, because he's not just a regular Christian. He is a gospel artist who is known over the masses, right?
Yes.
So again, it's almost like when Kurt Franklin apologized for wanting to choke out his kid, right? The thing was that nobody thought, not gonna say nobody, but most people who are parents didn't think Kurt did anything wrong, but it's because of the platform that he has and the pedestal that people put you on. Sometimes you're the only Bible people get to see. So for him, he's like, listen, I'm going to step out on faith and say that I am going to put myself out there knowing that people look at me. So I have to be a better example for the people. Not so much about it being just because of the church, but he knows that his stumble could cause somebody else to stumble.
You just enlightened me way more than I ever would have got on my own on that topic though, bro. I guess I just looked at that and thought that there's no way that I personally would live to satisfy people under that to that extent. But when you feel like that is your responsibility,
right,
then I can respect that.
And that's the same way Kurt did, because Kurt came out to apologize, right? He came out, he did interviews, he came out to apologize, and everybody's like, bro, you ain't got to apologize. Like, your son was being disrespectful to you. But the point is, Kurt understands his platform. He understands how people looked at him, because Kurt himself, he came out with his own, flaws and talked about his struggle with pornography and different things like that. He understands that people look at him in a certain light. So the responsibility of that is heavy, that especially when you feel like God put you in that position to be that figure, then you have to respect that. And then he's honoring that by saying, listen, I am one person who also has flaws, but I'm choosing to live my life this way so that nobody else won't stumble.
That is beautifully said, bro, because I would have never in a million years looked at that in that light though, bro. Yeah. Let me ask you this though, man. Switching topics here. So the boy Tiger Woods is out of the hospital, and they say that he is going to go ahead and start doing his rehab and everything like that. And what's been interesting about this is about a week or so ago, a couple of weeks back, the sheriff's office out there in LA said, hey, we about to go ahead and order this black box with these boys in his vehicle so get the subpoena for us so we can see exactly what happened, right? And they got the subpoena, got the black box, and basically said, listen, man, this investigation is over with. We ain't gonna say nothing unless Tiger Woods gives us the approval or whatever. And they just stopped it just like that. Listen, bro, I'm not gonna say this is privilege, but is this the power of money, power of your celebrity that you just say, hey man, I don't want y'all to be talking to these people about my business like that though, and they just say, okay, we respect that.
I mean, we live in a society, bro, that one mistake can end your career. So my thing is that, listen, I don't know what's going on with Tiger, and he's had struggles with different things. So my thing is that, hey, call it what you want, but I mean, I think that once they stopped the investigation the first time, why were they still trying to invest? They already said the case was closed, and then now they reopened it because they really want to know what happened. Like,
if this was Quavo, they would have ordered a toxicology report. They would have had a breathalyzer test on him before. They would have did a breathalyzer on him on his way in the helicopter to the airport. They would have did it. They would have been all kind of stuff on Quavo.
Yeah, but the difference is Quavo would have been in the car talking about, you know who I am?
That was Offset. That was Offset.
I know. I knew that. I was just.
And listen, I think it's just crazy to me though, man. That just like that, it all went away, and Tiger Woods is gone. Because here's the thing: naturally, you think Tiger Woods, cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think most people think like, was you over here popping some pills? You got behind the wheel. Everybody
that found out Tiger was in a car accident immediately was like, I hope he wasn't on that stuff. Everybody thought that. Yeah. I don't know a person that didn't. So when they first came out and said, nah, there was no
how we know then? You got the black box. Right, you got the black box, so the black box will tell you if the car was driving erratically out of it, whatever. But then also, I'm sure you had to have done some kind of toxicology report. Maybe the protocol is that if it's a one car accident or whatever, you don't, whatever it is. But for it to just be like, nah, I don't know, man. I think that part is interesting though, bro.
Yeah, we ain't getting off this podcast without talking about the stuff, bro.
What's that?
We getting into the Russell Westbrook stuff.
Oh my gosh. Set this up. Set it up.
Hmm?
Set it up. Set it up. Because I don't want to feel like that I'm laying this out with any of the Charles Venus biasness.
Okay, I'm gonna give y'all an
extreme
short version of this, because if you follow anything sports related, then you know what's going on. So basically, Stephen A came on TV after Russell Westbrook had this off the wall game where he had a triple double, over 30 points, over 20 assists, this, that, and the other. And Stephen A basically came out and said, it don't matter to me. Like, Russ makes these things so regular, but when is he going to win a ring, basically? And so Russ kind of responded and said, like, listen, from where I come from, when I grew up, the fact that I made it to the NBA, that's when I became a champion. So championships do not define me. I grew up, I take care of my family. I help more people than you can imagine. I know people that have been ring chasing who are unhappy. I am happy. I have the things that I want. I'm able to do what I want. And the fact that I made it to the NBA makes me a champion. So Stephen A basically says, and his wife came out and said something too. Stephen A basically came back to respond and said, listen, I never attacked your character. I'm only talking basketball. And for me, with you being the athlete that you are, with the capabilities that you have, and the amount of money that you're being paid, you have a responsibility to be trying to win a ring. That was his response. So with that being said, Charles Venus, what say you?
No, I want you to jump in. I want you to go first.
Mine is supposed to be the rebuttal to you.
Let me go first. Let me go.
You
Let me
agree
go.
with Stephen A.
Let me go with it. Okay, Ace Kennedy.
Mm-hmm. First of all, did I lay it out?
You laid it out there perfectly.
Okay.
Perfectly. Okay. I look at this and I'm not gonna say that because I think of the all-time list. I list everything, right? There's a GOAT list for everything. Russell Westbrook is probably the GOAT of most athletic point guards in the history of NBA. Close second was the MVP level Derrick Rose, and then he got hurt. But Russ has been sustaining it. Russ is an all-time great player. In the scheme of being GOATs, I think that one of the things that does hold Russell Westbrook back from that GOAT level conversation is rings. And when you say championships don't really matter to me, I'm the kind of person where championships and your contributions to a championship matter more than anything else. There's championships and your contributions toward the rings, and everything else is secondary. So with that being said, I don't care that Russell Westbrook grew up in the streets. I don't care that he makes $50 million a year. I don't care about all of that. He's from what I've understood, him and his wife have been down since college. He seems by all accounts, he's a great teammate from everybody who said that. But all of that stuff doesn't matter. It's secondary news to me. At the end of the day, I judge Russell not the numbers. Yes, Russell normalized those numbers for him. So when you see Joker get triple doubles, you think, oh, Joker got they make headlines. And Russ gets it, and it's like, well, we've seen Russ do that time and time again. And me personally, I'm always impressed by a triple double. I know the effort that goes into it. But with that said, though, man, I think that we, as a Russell Westbrook fan, I'm ready to see him get a ring. I'm ready to see those numbers materialize into a ring. And then when you say, well, the championships don't define me, like, what are we playing ball for then, bro? You out here, because I hate when people say Russell is padding stats or he's playing for numbers. But if the end of the day, if all of your effort isn't to reach a championship, then to me, I see why Stephen A said it's all for nothing if you're not doing it for a ring, bro. And I low key, I understand everything Russell was saying, and everything he's saying is true, right? He is probably. I'm not dismissing anything he's saying, but for me, championships that matters, not the kind of LaMarcus Aldridge joining the Nets or Blake Griffin joining the Nets to win a ring, not Karl Malone trying to join the Lakers, not Antoine Walker joining the Miami Heat. I'm talking about you putting up a triple-double in the finals, you hitting 20 points, you getting 21 assists in the final. That matters to me. And so the fact that he says that it doesn't, I kind of got a problem with that, bro.
Are you done?
I'm done, bro.
Okay. I just wanted to
listen. I got the rebuttal for the rebuttal, though.
But are you done right now, though?
I'm done.
Okay. So Russ did not say that winning a ring is not important to him. What he said was that does not define him, meaning that if for some reason when his basketball career is over, that he has not won a ring, that he is fulfilled with his basketball career. The thing is that this, right? You two, Stephen A and y'all would be the same ones talking about Russ if he decided to go team hopping to try to join the next big super team in order to win. Y'all would have something to say about that. Just like you just got finished talking about Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. The thing is this is what I have a problem with Stephen A about. And we'll get to you in a second. So Stephen A decides to say what he wants to say about Russ, right? Here's my issue with a lot of people. You are allowed to say whatever you want to say, but because you're allowed to say what you want to say, people can respond the way that they want to respond. So the fact that Stephen A was in his feelings, and maybe it was the second COVID shot, because I watched the second show, he was in his feelings because he didn't just get Max said something to him, and then the other guy that was subbing for Max the second day, he said something to him too, like, nah, bruh, you don't get to say that. And you put yourself out there. You're the one that started the conversation. So when Russ responded, however he chose to respond, because he brought up the fact about commentators also interfering, they can also talk people's direction towards how college players are viewed too, which can be true. To where you can have a narrative about somebody, like people put, like I heard Isaiah Thomas talking about Russ and, saying what he should feel and how he should feel. No. Russ can feel the way that he wants to feel, just like y'all can feel the way that you want to feel about how Russell feels about what he feels. But I'm always going to side with the person who's in that spot. So Russell Westbrook, I know that winning for somebody who plays like it's their last game for every game, you can't tell me that winning is not important. He's just not in a position to win like somebody else. So what he said was, in the event that when my career is over and I don't win a ring, I'm okay with that because of what my career has done. That's where his stance is. So for you guys to continually say that he said that winning championships are not important to me, that's not what he said. He said that does not define my career if I don't win a championship. Complete difference.
I think that the biggest difference, right? Okay. I think the difference is Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing, right? I think the difference is Kevin Garnett and Charles Barkley, right? I think that to me, there is, I think that as someone who feels the way that I do, I want to see Russ win a ring for everything that you're saying.
Absolutely.
For all of the reasons. But I think that when you say he hasn't been in the position, he has been, right? He's played aside with Kevin Garnett, right? He had played aside with Serge Ibaka. He's been on teams, and regardless of how those seasons and those teams manifested, he has been in positions.
Right.
Listen, but listen, people feel because of Russ's play that he was a reason why they didn't win the ring, right? In most cases. But listen, but because that's the case though, right? It's like saying, well, if you were the reason, if people feel you were the reason why you guys didn't win the ring, and you say, well, it doesn't define my career if I didn't get it, then that's where I think that people feel like, bro, that's where I think that there's the disconnect, because I think of all the things and all the energy and the effort that Russ gives, and for people to say, Doug, you the reason why y'all didn't get a ring, bro. It's like, come on, bro. And then to think that you played on a team with James Harden, who that's a whole nother story, but he's still James Harden, right? You played with Russ. You're now playing with Bradley Beal, and granted, their team is a rebuild or whatever they're trying to do. They're out there. I just think that for all the numbers that he can put together, the numbers are impressive. The triple doubles are impressive. But I think that, to me, think about this, bro. If Russ wins 2 rings with Kevin Durant, let's say that Kevin Durant never goes to, let's say hypothetically, Kevin Durant never goes to the Warriors, right? And they win, they beat the Warriors. They don't choke on the 3-1 lead. They beat the Warriors. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and Serge Ibaka, Steven Adams, that team goes against the Cavs. I think that they could have beat that team. They had everything they needed to beat them. They could have lost as well. But let's just say that they win and they come back. Usually they try to double up and they win 2 rings. I think the narrative of Russell Westbrook is written different, bro, with 2 rings. And this because he does the same exact thing. The 2 rings is what writes his story differently, bro.
Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the other thing. So first of all, Stephen A. lost all credibility for anything he had to say when he mentioned Reggie Jackson as a potential person that Russell played with. Like, bro, stop. That's when you lost all your credibility right there. Secondly, like you said, he played on teams with other players. And those other players, what responsibility do they hold? Here's the thing. You say that all these people say that, oh, well, Russ was the reason why this, Russ was the reason why that. It's like you trying to tell me that I cried at the bowling alley. No matter how many times you say it, it doesn't sway my story. Russ is very stubborn like that. It doesn't matter to him that everybody might feel that he's the reason why. It doesn't matter to him. And I respect that, because you don't get to tell somebody how they feel. You just don't. And you can say it all you want, but that doesn't mean that the person has to accept it, that just because that's the way that you feel, that's the way I'm supposed to feel. Secondly, that's the reason that Kevin Durant left, because he couldn't handle it. See, that's why Kevin is on the clock now, because Kevin couldn't do it by himself, just like LeBron James couldn't do it by himself.
Kevin never had to try to do it by himself. Kevin never had to try to do it by himself.
I know, but he also was on that team that had the 3-1 lead, and he couldn't do it, so he left. Which is why we look at Kevin Durant the way we do now, where I don't respect his championships because of how he got them. So the thing is that when Kevin left, that's where Russ's career took off, where he became this superstar that y'all tried to say he wasn't when he was doing the stuff with Kevin Durant. So if he would have listened to you then, we wouldn't have got the Russell Westbrook that was averaging the triple doubles that we got. Just like the same way that James Harden would not have been James Harden that he was had he not left Oklahoma City. So all I'm saying is, if people continue to listen to the people trying to run their mouth about what a person should be, they would never be what they are.
I get what you're saying though, bro. And but my point, this is what I'm saying. To me, my thinking is it's multi-purpose, it's repetitive. If Kevin Durant doesn't win the rings with the Warriors, then Kevin Durant to me is looked like the second best player in the league behind Jordan in the Jordan era. So whoever you want to say it would be like Reggie Miller was a great player. Reggie Miller was a phenomenal player in the 90s when Jordan was there. But Jordan got the rings and Reggie Miller doesn't. So he's like second tier. Whoever you want to name,
here's the other
Karl
thing,
Malone, all of these players, listen, all of these players who don't have rings that had great careers. Karl Malone, great career, no rings. Charles Barkley, Kevin Durant would be one of those guys. Kevin Durant won the MVP. Charles Barkley won the MVP. Charles Barkley was several times All-Star, first team All-NBA. Kevin Durant with no ring knows that he is in that same conversation that Russ is in when you're like, yeah, you can score 30 a game, but what about the rings?
Here's the thing though. But the problem is y'all are the only ones that's affecting, because like Russ said, if the cards are not on the table, because it takes a lot to win a championship.
It takes a lot to win a championship.
Okay. So if all of those cards don't fall for me to win a championship, I'm fine for everything else that I've done. But my thing is that I don't think Russell Westbrook, first of all, I know he's not. I respect the fact that Russell Westbrook still plays like Russell Westbrook with a team that ain't going nowhere versus if he was on a team that was going somewhere.
I love that. Listen, that's one of the things I love the most about Russ.
Melvin, I don't have to.
Oh my God! Listen, listen. Let me say this about Russ, and we can talk about the KD rings. The thing that because I look at KD rings differently from you do, but the thing that I love about Russ is, as an NBA fan, I never feel cheated by Russ's play. I respect the fact that Russ is playing every single game, and he's playing every single game like it's his last. Mm-hmm. I respect that more from Russ than probably any other player in the league.
The other thing I will say, because another example of a person that commentators felt that they could say what this person should have done and what he should be doing is Carmelo Anthony. Somebody who they said, your career is over. Like, it's over, bro. The league has changed. You're no longer an asset in the league. And look at Melo now.
I don't think that was the narrative on Melo.
What was the narrative?
No, I thought that the narrative, I thought that narrative was not the commentators. I thought that narrative was one from Melo's reaction and the leagues, not the commentators. I think that the league felt that based off of Carmelo. That narrative was that when they had asked Carmelo the first time when he was in Oklahoma City about coming off the bench, and he was like, what? Come off the bench? Who? That was Melo who set that table. And to me, I think that, but then here's the thing. If Melo would have accepted that particular role earlier on, he wouldn't have been out the league for that time. So now he's thriving and he's still doing what Melo can do. Everybody knew Melo can score. But everybody also said, listen,
when Oklahoma City brought Melo over, they told him he was going to do one thing. And then when he got there, they asked him to do another. So Sam Presti said, if he's going to go forward with the Oklahoma City Thunder, his role is going to change. He bet on himself. Yes, he was out the league for X amount of years, whatever. But I'm saying the fact that if he would have listened to people, because then commentators were saying, bro, it's done. It's over.
I don't think so. I don't remember hearing people say that
you can pull the tape on Max Kellerman. You can pull the tape on Max Kellerman, and he was one of the main ones talking about Melo should go ahead and retire. He should have his. Where did the farewell tour come in from then, Charles?
Listen, this is my thing, though, bro. You gotta.
Where did
talk about the sources? Hold on.
Where's the farewell tour coming from then? Melo didn't bring that up.
Talk about, listen, this is my thing. The farewell tour came from the fact that Melo basically scoffed at the idea of coming off the bench. And because he refused to come off the bench, everybody said, well, listen, bro, that kind of has to be the end of it. He started for the Blazers by default when they had some injury. But now he comes off the bench. He's very effective at it. But all that's happening with Melo now is he's doing what people thought he should have done 3 years ago. But Max Kellerman, though, You got to think about the sources, because Max Kellerman is the same one who said, with the shot on the line and the Martians pointing all the guns at you, he's picking Andre Iguodala emphatically to take the last shot over anybody. So come on,
bro. All I'm saying is I said commentators. That's just one example. What I'm saying was, when that whole Melo thing was going on, there was multiple people saying that Melo should hang it up or he should have his farewell tour. That's what I'm saying. But either way,
I'm sure there were some people who saying that. I'm not saying no one did it. I just think that narrative was written by Melo, basically laughing at the fact of him coming off the bench. That's all I'm saying.
Bruh, listen. I don't care that he was a contributor to the Warriors. It doesn't matter. He should have stayed his tail at Oklahoma City when he had a 3-1 lead and helped them win a championship instead of running up in the smoke. No, I don't have to respect his rings because he took the easy way out, because he went and joined a 73-9 team in order to win a championship. Bruh, miss me with that. No.
Anything left in the clip on that?
No, I'm good. I love y'all,
I'm going to tell you. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. My last thing, just to add to that topic. Melvin, I understand where you come from with the fact that Kevin Durant was clearly the reason why they won those 2 rings.
Yeah.
He didn't go there. He put them over the edge. Same team that he lost to. I think that same team would have lost that particular game. That those same rings, I think that he would have lost. They would have lost probably both times without Kevin Durant, especially if KD and Kyrie, and K-Love were never injured during that time.
Yeah.
I thought that they would have washed them. But I also can't dismiss the fact that, bro, you joined the team that won 73 games that you had down 3-1. And regardless of what people say about Russell, right, and him trying to take over, his decision making, all of that stuff,
Kevin,
at the end of the day, if you put this Kevin Durant, right, wasn't that Kevin Durant to me.
Absolutely.
That's where I think that. So what I think is that while Russell was seems like he's very headstrong, and he will always feel like I can make that next play. This Kevin Durant tells that Russell to pump the brakes. I'm the one that can make the shot. You might think you can, but I know I can't. That's this KD. And I think that what Oklahoma City needed was this KD to put them over the hurdle. And I think that it's growth. It's growth.
Yeah. Well, look, man, for everybody that checked in, Melvin, Mark, Vixen,
Chris Top,
hey, everybody that decided to stop and check in. Tony, Brittany, everybody that checked in. Thank y'all so much for watching the Slash Brothers podcast. Like I said, man, I got to get Prince to his game. Y'all have an incredible weekend. This is the Slash Brothers, and we out. We will see y'all Tuesday.
Let's get that music, maestro.
Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Can you dig it, sucker?